Let's go to Swap Fox. He is now building a Panzer support command, which allows him to build the bigger sort of tanks and such. And so he's doing that. But whilst at the same time Wiggles, we can check out his view, is furthering his defences. He's just expanding them a lot, just to ensure that nothing gets through. Whereas we capture and hold this victory point, and he bunkers down his Cromwell, just to make sure that nothing bad happens. And what neither of us were realizing was that this mortar was actually bombing us. And here we go. Billy the Conqueror makes a push, but I was a little better prepared because I had a bigger tank ready that was able to come in. I do fair for him though as I pull him back, because he has been hit quite hard and heavy by a tank, and I let my anti-tank push forward, and there's a mistake on my part. I have to bring him back, and there we go. Completely wasted my T-17, but that's okay. And what I should have done was finish off this tank, but I didn't. And I pay for that later on. Here we go. Wiggles makes a push into Swap Fox's base. Just trying to remember the names now. And so he's dealing his damage. It's quite effectively just sitting there. There's very little resistance to which he has to put up with, and now he's able to bring his engineers in just to get some repairs done if need be, and some added damage. Still, we have the other Cromwell that was holding this point coming in to help out, and as Swap Fox produces some anti-tank weaponry, Wiggles has had to pull out his Stuart. And there we go, he loses the Stuart, but fortunately they are made quick work of. And these buildings are slowly getting depleted. Another Cromwell heading up as Billy the Conqueror begins to prepare for another push. If I go to my view and enable fog of war, I had no idea any of this was there. I was just only left to guess. So of course I'm producing anti-tanks, got my flamethrower engineers, keeping my tank there fully repaired. And here we go, here he makes the push. Now I do discover a sniper, fortunately, but after it had taken out my anti-tank, which was a bit frustrating. But things happen. Here we go, we're getting some repairs, and the MG has managed to pin every single unit here. I was totally unaware of that. And no, I do not want to play with you at the moment, thank you. And here we go. So I bring my tank forward just to get rid of this pesky vehicle, as I get absolutely annihilated by this vehicle here, this SDKFZ. It's an artillery type vehicle, and I just lose it all there. That was a clever blow, but luckily I'm able to produce another Sherman. That will help me whilst also getting another anti-tank out, because these tanks are very annoying. And I do finish that tank off, and he is also forced to retreat his men, and unfortunately I lose that Sherman, which is very annoying. was a very loud MG gunner up and firing. As we can see, which we totally missed, and I apologize for that, but Wiggles was pushed out of the space by this Panther here. These are probably the best tanks you can produce in this game on the German side by a large margin, but Wiggles did manage to take out that point there, and also severely damaged that, but he still has maintained his defensive line, which is good in preparation for a counter push. So we do have the more tanks coming down. I'm again setting up my defensive wall. So as we see here, the men that were retreated earlier coming back up fully replenished. As we change to Bailey's view, you can see how his manpower has been depleted in replenishing these squads. And what we do notice here is his King Tiger tank, which is an ability he calls in through his tree, his Terror tree, and it's ridiculously powerful, as you'll see shortly, I'm sure. And here we go, we lose the second victory point. So now they're still in the lead by almost 100 points, 80 points or so, and this is when we start realizing that we need to do something. And by do something, we set up a 25 pounder there. Wiggle sets up that pounder just to produce some artillery, but here we go, we have a bit of a push forward, just a defensive line. We waver a little bit because I think Jeffrey did spot that, yeah, he did spot the Panther. Again, I'm just setting up my ways, recapturing some of the anti-tanks. Pretty much had no money for anything. And here we go, we see a bit of a push, but the Panther was struck from the long distance ATs. And this is where they bring in the infantry. And as you can see here, there are no MGs set up within distance, just outside of distance here, and direction for which to defend. But we can see that these Cromwells are making good work of this infantry here. Yep, and then they bring forth the Panther. As you can see, it struck this vehicle and did a lot of damage. Again, hitting him. But fortunately, we have another 17 pounder set up just in range of that. And as you can see, they're trying to do a pincer maneuver, swapping in around the tanks, because lots more damage is done to these vehicles if you hit them from behind. Unfortunately, that Cromwell is down, and the King Tiger is just taking these shots. He's just, yeah, he's just taking them in his stride, forcing Wiggles to retreat, and he begins to get artilleried as well, which is unfortunate. And I'm not being a very good teammate, and I'm not helping out very much here. I do begin sending a little trio of engineer squads here with flamethrowers just to deal with some of the infantry, but I don't have much in the ways of anti-tank, which is what I should have done, but I didn't. So here we go, the King Tiger just taking these shots, just, you know, thinking nothing of it. And here we go, let's bring up the Panther in support. This was happening down here is some minor pushes, some very frustrating mortar shots. as you can see there, and here we go. This AT is completely annihilated, so I'm thinking, oh no, so I may as well just rush this infantry with my flamethrowers. Because these tanks are not very good against infantry, which was fortunate enough for me, but the MGs on the top were. And I foolishly retreated. That was, I don't know what I was thinking there. Could have done that. Anyway, and as you can see, I'm now able to figure out that Wiggles, that he went through the Royal Engineers tree. I chose the Armour Company tree as I begin to bring my Shermans around, and I believe that Belly chose the Terror tree, and I'm in fact right. And I'm not familiar with the Swamp Fox tree, but I can't